Barron Trump's unassuming existence frequently goes unnoticed behind the headlines and the grandeur of the Trump brand. But everyone's attention was drawn to one particular airport event. Like any young person, Barron was merely attempting to get through a typical situation, but when airport employees made a contentious move, they soon realized how wrong they were. Enter his feisty mother, Melania Trump, whose response was unmistakable. What precisely transpired on this momentous occasion? Come learn the specifics of this incident and how Melania's prompt entrance changed the course of events. Barron Trump's solo travel experience. Barron Trump's experiences traveling alone offer a rare window into a life that most people consider very different from the norm. Although Barron's family has a lavish lifestyle, he has grown independent and now travels independently. Barron has been seen navigating airports with little fuss, whether for a short journey from New York to Florida or an international affair. His readiness to travel alone demonstrates his need for independence, which is uncommon for kids in the spotlight. Beyond that, it also illustrates the Trump family's protective stance by allowing Barron to develop independently of the intense media scrutiny. His excursions provide a discreet, behind-the-scenes look, demonstrating that even a member of such a famous family can appreciate the everyday delights of life apart from the glitz and glamour that usually envelop him. These are the times when Barron's actual self subtly shows through, away from the cameras. The airport incident. Initially appearing as a routine mix-up, the airport event became an unexpected public spectacle for Barron Trump. Airport employees mistook Barron for another ordinary traveler while traveling alone, not knowing who he was. This presumption resulted in an awkward circumstance where Barron was requested to leave a restricted location, which startled everyone when they recognized him. After a brief security check, it became apparent that this was not your typical adolescent. This was Barron Trump, the son of a previous president. The delicate balance of seclusion Barron has managed to retain while living under intense public attention is highlighted by this occurrence. The level of normalcy Barron frequently attempts to maintain in his present, despite his well-known past, was demonstrated by the staff's surprise at their mistake. However, his response showed his composure in managing awkward circumstances. The role of airport security. Although airport security is renowned for its stringent procedures, Barron Trump's experience showed that even the most stringent safeguards can occasionally miss essential details. Even while they are educated to deal with high-profile people, security staff are subject to conventional operating protocols, which may not allow them to recognize someone as important as the son of a former president. The staff's decision to fire Barron was the consequence of a protocol error rather than an act of carelessness. This misidentification led to an embarrassing situation that unnecessarily escalated, highlighting that even people used to dealing with VIPs can occasionally make mistakes regarding public figures. In many respects, the episode also demonstrated the high level of public interest in Barron. His identification was significantly more critical than a simple mix-up would imply, and the entire discussion almost instantly attracted media attention. Although it was an awkward time for everyone, it provided insight into how much attention Barron receives in every circumstance. Barron's poise under pressure. Barron Trump's response to the issue demonstrated his extraordinary composure under duress despite the initial uncertainty at the airport. Barron handled the mistake with a poise that belied his youth, remaining composed and not getting defensive or agitated. He demonstrated maturity that many peers might not have by maintaining his composure in an uncomfortable and awkward scenario. His background, which frequently emphasizes prudence and measured replies, particularly in high-pressure situations, is probably the cause of his composure. Many kids might be ready to snap when confronted with public humiliation, but Barron showed calm strength by preventing the situation from worsening. Barron is far more than the average teenage son of a celebrity, as evidenced by his behavior under such scrutiny. His reputation as a composed young man in the public light was cemented by his ability to manage the situation with such grace, which won him the silent respect of all who saw it. Melania Trump's arrival. The appearance of Barron's mother, Melania Trump, was a turning point in the airport incident. The whole dynamic changed the moment she entered the scene. Melania, renowned for being calm and self-assured, understood the issue immediately and assumed leadership. She calmly and authoritatively revealed Barron's name to the crew, stopping the miscommunication. There was a clear contrast between Melania's decisive, controlled involvement and Barron's quiet, collected demeanor. It became clear that Barron's mother's quiet strength had also influenced his upbringing and his father's impact. Melania's answer in this circumstance demonstrated her ability to handle both public and private domains, striking a balance between her son's requirements and the fact that she was suddenly thrown into the spotlight. She displayed confidence, frequently required in managing the difficulties of being a member of the Trump family, with her composed yet aggressive demeanor. The regret of airport staff. When Melania intervened, the airport employees realized they had made a grave error. At first glance, the incident appeared insignificant, but it had grown to be much more than a standard security check. It was an evident miscalculation of Barron Trump's true nature. The staff's remorse was apparent because they had unintentionally insulted a member of one of the most famous families in the world. Due to this epiphany, the staff became more conscious of the increased scrutiny that accompanies working with people like Barron. In an attempt to salvage what was left of the moment, they promptly apologized. The Trump family is the subject of intense public interest, and this episode serves as a warning that even those working in security or private affairs need to exercise caution when dealing with someone in their position. Even if the airport employees' initial behavior was inappropriate, their prompt acknowledgement of their error helped to diffuse the issue before it got out of hand. The power dynamics at play. Despite its seeming insignificance, the airport event unintentionally illuminated the intricate power dynamics associated with belonging to the Trump family. Barron's appearance at the airport served as a reminder that every action, no matter how minor, could garner public notice. For Barron, this meant that even a routine walk through security could make the news if things got out of hand. Barron's lack of recognition by the staff demonstrated how easily the privileged are forgotten, but it also showed how swiftly things can change once identities are made public. This dynamic encompasses not only a privilege, but also the associated expectations. Barron has had to live with the need to strike a balance since everything he does is scrutinized and criticized regardless of its purpose. The way society perceives the Trump family, a strong, exaggerated attention on every aspect of their lives, is reflected in many ways in the power dynamics at work. Barron's forgiving nature. During the airport incident, Barron Trump's capacity for forgiveness was evident. Despite being mistreated, Barron's composed reaction demonstrated his capacity to move past the circumstance. He gently accepted the error rather than resenting it or making it worse. It's a quality that appears ingrained in his personality, demonstrating his parents' influence. Barron is accustomed to public misjudgments due to his upbringing in a high-pressure setting, yet his capacity for forgiveness betrays a profound emotional maturity. He can traverse life without negativity thanks to his emotional intelligence, which many adults find difficult to maintain. Barron's capacity for forgiveness involves more than simply putting the tragedy behind him. It also entails seeing the broader picture. He will benefit much from his upbringing since it has given him the ability to deal with life's obstacles without harboring resentment. It's a unique trait, particularly for someone his age, and it reveals a lot about his background. The media's immediate attention. Following the event at the airport, the media immediately took action. The tale swiftly became significant news, with tabloids and internet sites analyzing every facet of the case. What could have been a straightforward error turned into a chance for the media to highlight Barron Trump and, consequently, the privacy of the Trump family. The story was twisted by headlines discussing Barron's interaction with the workers and how quickly the misunderstanding escalated. The focus soon turned to the broader ramifications, including the difficulties prominent families encounter in public settings and the constant scrutiny they bear. Conversations concerning the boundaries of privacy, particularly for public figures, were triggered by Barron's mere presence in the airport, which made the incident noteworthy. The difficulties Barron experiences growing up in the spotlight, where every encounter may be exaggerated into a spectacle, were further highlighted by the media's rapid attention. It also questions how we perceive and manage children's privacy in these households. The scrutiny of Barron's public life. Few teenagers have had to face the scrutiny Barron's life Trump has received. Whether it's a casual stroll with his dog or an infrequent get-together with his parents, his public appearance is the focus of intense media scrutiny. While other famous children may receive comparable attention, Barron's life has been the focus of unmatched interest. From his wardrobe selections to his body language, his public appearances are frequently analyzed. This degree of attention encourages Barron to mature rapidly because he is constantly conscious that everyone is watching him. He must manage the difficulties of being in the spotlight while attempting to keep his life regular because it is a public spectacle. This can be a daunting experience for a young child. However, Barron has become resilient and is aware of the responsibilities that accompany his family name. He has become accustomed to living under constant public scrutiny due to his experience, which will help him as he ages. How Barron's parents handle public backlash. Barron has always been shielded by the Trump family, especially when it comes to how the public views their kid. Although detractors have frequently conjectured about how Barron's fame has impacted his upbringing, Donald and Melania have persisted in their intention to keep him out of the media spotlight. Despite the continual limelight, they have taken proactive measures to ensure Barron has as normal a childhood as possible. This has meant keeping his private life hidden from the media and minimizing his exposure to public events. The protective attitude of Barron's parents has generated discussions about how best to reconcile granting him solitude with preparing him for public life. But they want him to be able to mature without feeling overburdened by the demands of celebrity. Melania, in particular, has made it known that Barron's welfare is their priority by being outspoken about keeping his life private. Their dedication to providing Barron with a sense of normalcy amidst the turmoil of public life is reflected in this protective approach. Barron's relationship with his father. Many people might be surprised by Barron Trump's closeness with his father, Donald. Despite their different personalities, they have great respect for one another. Barron is more reticent, while Donald is more outgoing. Donald has consistently stated that one of the most significant connections in his life is his one with Barron. For his part, Barron seems to emulate his father and exhibits many of his views in public. Donald has ingrained some traits in Barron, whether it is his quiet confidence or his composed manner at public gatherings. They have a sincere bond based on mutual respect and understanding rather than forced closeness. Barron's relationship with Donald is still more intimate, and they hardly ever make large gestures or public demonstrations of affection, even though Donald has spent a large portion of his life in the spotlight. Mutual respect is the foundation of their relationship, and despite their disagreements, they have an unsaid tie that betrays their closeness. Melania's role as a mother. Although it is frequently overlooked, Melania Trump's role as Barron's mother has significantly influenced who he is. Her cool-headedness provides a solid basis as Barron navigates life under continual public scrutiny. Melania has made it clear that she wants Barron to have a typical childhood and has done all she can to keep him out of the spotlight. She acts as a stabilizing influence in his life as a mother, keeping him centered and grounded. She is highly concerned about Barron's privacy and will keep him as private as possible. Her actions during the incident at the airport demonstrated her natural desire to shield him from harm, both publicly and personally. Barron's maturity and poise demonstrate Melania's effect on him, demonstrating how her loving demeanor has been essential in molding his personality. Despite the difficulties of public life, she remains Barron's advocate, ensuring that her son grows up feeling secure. Barron's growth amid public expectations. The demands made on Barron Trump are only increasing as he gets older. The public is watching his future because he is the son of a previous president. Barron has demonstrated a more realistic approach, even though many people make assumptions about his future professional or political goals. He has mostly avoided the spotlight, instead concentrating on his studies and personal development. This strategy frees him from the constant strain of living up to public expectations and lets him grow on his terms. His personal story is unique because of his peaceful attitude, which starkly contrasts the frequently turbulent political milieu surrounding his family. Interestingly, his ability to stay out of the spotlight demonstrates Barron's self-assurance in his direction. In actuality, Barron's decisions imply that he loves his solitude more than anything else, even if his family is frequently in the spotlight. This illustrates his will to shape his future according to his interests and passions rather than those of others, which makes his development a fascinating and unique trip. The impact of growing up in the Trump family. There are unique benefits and difficulties to growing up in the Trump household. From an early age, Barron has been exposed to a life of enormous riches, influence, and continuous media attention. This dynamic environment has molded his tenacity and capacity to function in intricate social situations. Due to his exposure to high-stakes politics and industry, Barron has a significantly more complex perspective on the world than most teenagers do. However, these experiences accompany ongoing scrutiny and pressure from public opinion. But Barron's ability to remain calm and stay out of the spotlight is a testament to his growing versatility. Growing up in a setting where choices frequently impact millions of people, Barron has acquired the ability to engage with the outside world deliberately and measuredly. Barron has maintained his feeling of solitude and normalcy despite being thrown into the public eye by his family. He has a broad perspective on the world and is somewhat cautious about his personal life due to his unusual upbringing. The role of Barron's education in shaping him. His education has significantly influenced Barron Trump's development. Despite living under constant scrutiny, Barron has maintained the privacy of his academic pursuits. His ability to keep his composure amid his family's hectic public life is mainly due to his tremendous dedication to his education. Barron has access to possibilities that most young people may only imagine because he attends a prestigious private school. Being the son of a past president puts pressure on Barron, but he is still dedicated to doing well in school. He is better prepared for a future free from the shadow of his family's celebrity, thanks mainly to this educational organization. His parents have always encouraged Barron's independence by stressing the value of his education as a springboard for the future, especially Melania. Curiously, Barron has also demonstrated a strong interest in science and technology, feels that it may influence his future professional choices as he ages. His academic endeavors indicate he is forging his distinct path rather than merely carrying on his family's tradition. Barron's social circle. In contrast to other children of prominent public figures, Barron Trump's social life has remained remarkably discreet. Barron, who grew up in the spotlight, has been able to build deep connections without the crippling stress of continuous media attention. In contrast to other famous kids whose friendships are frequently questioned, Barron's inner circle is kept under wraps, allowing him to cultivate sincere, intimate relationships. The Trump family's protective attitude toward Barron's life is the direct cause of this secrecy. Barron's friendships are no exception to Melania and Donald's determined efforts to restore his sense of normalcy. Barron typically only engages in casual social engagements with a select few buddies. Barron has been able to enjoy his childhood without the added pressure of meeting social expectations because of this sense of seclusion. Fascinatingly, Barron's desire for a quiet, private life, something few people in the public can experience, may also be influenced by the lack of social media buzz surrounding his acquaintances and relationships. Media perceptions of Barron's personality. Because he prefers to avoid the spotlight, Barron Trump is sometimes characterized in the media as bashful or distant. But according to many who have known him, he is considerate, intellectual, and courteous. The press frequently oversimplifies complicated characters, as evidenced by this discrepancy between public perception and reality. Barron's reserved manner is sometimes misunderstood as introversion. but it represents his need for seclusion and a private area away from prying eyes. Those who have spent time with him understand that he is a young man who would rather keep his ideas to himself, even though his reserve in front of cameras may be seen as aloof. Interestingly, this composure is frequently regarded as maturity beyond his years, which many find admirable. Barron's emotional intelligence is demonstrated by his ability to remain composed in public scrutiny. Barron's actual personality is still more complex and difficult to pin down, even though the media frequently highlights the more obvious facets of his personality. How Barron deals with public misconceptions. Over the years, Barron Trump has encountered several misunderstandings caused by the public's propensity to conclude from scant facts. His reserved demeanor is frequently misunderstood as an indication of distantness or disinterest. However, those who know Barron know that his introversion is a decision to keep his personal life hidden from the public rather than a weakness. He has stated unequivocally that he would instead not participate in public discourse and stay out of the maelstrom of media conjecture. Barron's emotional fortitude and intelligence are demonstrated by the fact that he has remained mostly unaffected by public misconceptions. He is aware that opinions frequently overlook the whole picture, mainly when formed from a distance. It's interesting that he also shields himself from being forced into a story that doesn't accurately represent who he is by avoiding the spotlight. Because of his strong sense of self, Barron can control his public persona by only releasing information he feels comfortable revealing. The importance of family support in Barron's life. Barron Trump's family, especially his mother Melania, who has vehemently defended him from the media, has always been there for him in times like the airport incident. In the middle of the volatility of growing up in the spotlight, Barron has found comfort thanks mainly to this familial support. The entire family was in the spotlight throughout Donald Trump's presidency, but Barron was protected from needless publicity. Barron has enjoyed a comparatively normal childhood because of Melania's presence and his father's watchful demeanor. In addition to providing him stability, this protection has allowed him to develop according to his schedule. Barron's family has ensured that he has the freedom to make his own decisions in a society where the private lives of famous persons are frequently scrutinized. Their shared views on privacy and well-being highlight the value of familial ties in navigating public life while providing Barron with emotional stability. Barron's media-free approach to life. One of Barron Trump's most notable characteristics is his media-free outlook on life. In a time when celebrities' kids are frequently propelled into the spotlight, Barron has maintained an impressive degree of solitude. Despite having well-known parents, he rarely appears in public and has largely kept his private life hidden from the media. The ongoing media attention that other famous children experience contrasts sharply with this. His choice to prioritize privacy above fame is not only admirable, but it also is a unique and potent stand in the age of oversharing. Barron controls his story by avoiding the spotlight, a luxury rarely granted to people in his situation. His strategy also emphasizes the value of personal boundaries by demonstrating that he prioritizes his privacy over the transient glamour of celebrity. In this way, Barron advocates for a thoughtful and balanced attitude to life, setting a distinctive example for upcoming generations of public leaders. Barron's ability to handle public criticism. Barron Trump has been in the spotlight since he was a young child and has received praise and criticism. Despite severe media scrutiny, he has continuously demonstrated the capacity to take public criticism well. He probably has a solid support network, particularly from his parents, which contributes to his perseverance. Even though his reserved demeanor has frequently led to conjecture, Barron has primarily remained unfazed by popular opinion. Those aware of his role's intricacies praise him for handling difficult circumstances without becoming emotionally upset. It's interesting to note that his composed manner starkly contrasts other family members' frequently flamboyant public character, making him a fascinating and admired figure. Barron's ability to take criticism and maintain his credibility shows how emotionally intelligent and mature he is. Barron's quiet courage stands out as a testament to personal fortitude in a time when public personalities frequently respond rashly to criticism. The future of Barron Trump. Although Barron Trump's future remains unknown primarily, it is evident that his upbringing has given him a strong foundation for whatever course he decides to take. It's difficult to tell if he will enter the spotlight or choose a life away from it because of his highly private character. However, during high public and political scrutiny, Barron's upbringing in the Trump family has equipped him to manage the demands and expectations accompanying such a legacy. He has demonstrated the capacity for self-control, and his choices will probably result from a careful balancing act between his own goals and how the public views him. Barron will undoubtedly have the means, clout, and emotional fortitude to forge his route, regardless of whether he chooses to pursue a career in politics, business, or another industry. The most exciting thing is that Barron might focus on his goals rather than carrying on his family's tradition, leaving behind a distinctive legacy that contradicts the norms of his public life.
If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon